It's the Sleepers Podcast. It is Monday, September 8th. Deion is here, that boy D Hill, and it's a miracle he's here because he has been dealing with a code brown. Deion, can you please bring the people up to speed on your personal, professional situation right now?
Yeah, so a lot of people like to disregard my day job, which is fine. I had a little incident. Kid bathrooms weren't open. Kid had to go. Popped the squad in the end zone. Said, "Len, this is my new bathroom." Respect to him. Comfortability anywhere. I'm not a public shitter. I can't do it. I can't wrap my brain around doing it. So this kid, in a weird way, is one of my heroes because me personally would have held on to that thing until I got home and caused myself internal issues.
Okay. I mean, I'm glad we got your own philosophy on this, but I'm still dialed in on the kid that shit in the end zone. Can we I'm so split between that's like an all-time boss move versus this poor kid is going to be tortured for the rest of his life.
Oh, I think both are true.
Like 20 years from now, it becomes like a two truths and a lie. Like, hey, my name's Greg. I'm 6'9" and I pooped in the end zone. What are my two truths and which one's a lie?
It's going to be a sick two truths and a lie. And honestly, for the next few years, probably not going to be the greatest story in his life.
Yeah, very true. Also, kudos to him because of all places on a football field to poop, the end zone's a pretty good one.
Good spot. Good spot. Easy cleanup too. Turf fields, little water hose, no big deal. Dogs
Yeah.
probably do it all the time.
Right. And like if it just so happens to be the Spartan Stadium field that you pooped in the end zone on in the second half, you won't have to worry about anybody touching it.
I think shout out Aiden Childs. He might throw it over the end zone. You
Right.
have to run through to get the football at some point.
Yeah, on like first and 10 from the 40-yard line, he might throw the ball into the poop by accident. But yeah, anyways. All right. Well, this has been fun. Great start to a Monday morning here. We're recording this on Friday afternoon. This is my least favorite time of year to record full episodes because as people know, it's football season and a bunch of stuff that's going to be talked about on the show happens on Saturday and Sunday. There's just no logistical way for anyone involved in this channel to record on Sundays anymore as we grow up and have family time a little bit. Those weekends are sacred, folks. So bear with us as you get your Monday episodes recorded a little bit early, but we've got some fun college basketball stuff in store for you. Speaking of in store, we just launched a Sleepers merch store, ladies and gentlemen. The thing that many people have asked us for throughout the years is finally available to you. Go to our Twitter and see our pinned tweet and you can find our merch store. But basically, I've got a friend here in Kalamazoo who does this for a living and works with a company called BSN and puts together team stores for even like high schools and things of that nature. And this is the exact place. Like you see this quarter zip I'm wearing right now. It's really, really nice, like dry fit material, embroidered everything. Carter and I have a bunch of items that we ordered directly from this store earlier this summer. Super nice quality. Everything you'll get from the store, I genuinely mean it, is like really, really nice. So yeah, this is available. You can order whatever you want. I didn't even realize this, but there's like a special page with like cornhole boards and slides and water bottles. So that's kind of cool. I might even tap in for some Christmas gifts there. But yeah, go check it out. I think a lot of this stuff has random prices on it, and some of these are pretty high because like the Nike Dry Fit material is really nice. It costs as much as if you bought like a Nike Dry Fit thing. But there's hoodies, t-shirts, shorts, basically anything you could possibly want to buy, all in the store right now. And most importantly, a big percentage of all proceeds goes back directly to us. So while you've heard me whining about not having a sponsor on the show for a little bit, this would be a really good supplement to not having a sponsor for a couple months if we're able to sell some merch. And all of that money will come right back directly to people like me, Deion, Carter, Riley, Jay Mann, Jacob, Ryan Hammer, and Tanner McGrath. So there you have it. Deion, any thoughts?
Question. So listen, if I see a Q-zip, I'm golfing in it. I know we can't do too much golf banter. How does the swing feel in the Q-zip though? Are you free? Like, are you able to get
Free.
all the way through? Because there's some Q-zips that like keep it a little tight up here.
Yeah, it's pretty free. It really is pretty free. Like I'm leaning around. I got this is just a large, and like sometimes when I'm big bodied and not intermittent fasting. I have been known to get an extra large occasionally, which is crazy. I hate admitting that publicly, but right now I'm in shape again, and this is a large, and it's definitely still pretty loose up here. So,
Okay.
yeah, I think it's great. I believe too. The only thing I don't see in here is polos, which is weird because we bought a bunch of polos we really like. Maybe they couldn't put those in the store, but yeah, there's like some long sleeve tees that would be good for like hooping or working out in. Like I said, I love the quarter zips. There's hoodies. Scrolling down further, yeah, shorts, sweatpants, just regular t-shirts, and then hats too. We got those like nice black, excuse me, nice black Nike hats that everything's embroidered. Looks really nice. So go check it out. If you have any money to spare and you are a Sleepers fan, get yourself something. This is available for 2 weeks. So we don't know when it's going to come back. Not trying to scare you into ordering, but it's one of those things we can only make this available for a certain amount of time because they wait until that period's over to print all the orders. And then once that period's done, they won't print new orders again until we relaunch it. So this is one of those things, maybe once every couple months, we might put some new products out and re-release the store. But if you're looking for something for football season right now, these next 2 weeks are the only times you're going to be able to have access to getting something.
And I'm gonna give everybody the play because I know everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, it's a little expensive." I get that. I get that. It's up for 2 weeks, which means you can wait till your payday. You don't have to do it right now. They're not going to ship the items till after the 18th, based upon what G just said. So stay patient, save up a little bit. $30 from each paycheck. You get a Q zip. You can go shoot in the 70s like G.
Yeah, exactly. Listen to Deion, smart man. Also, as far as like being expensive goes, hand up, I asked if we could jack the prices up even more. So, like, that's the first thing I did. They sent me the store, and I was like, "This all looks great. Can we put like $15 extra on every item and have that come back directly to us?" And my lovely friend who's at the store said straight up, "No, we cannot do that." So the prices are not something we were even able to choose. This is, obviously the company that prints these is making a good margin off of this as well, and then Nike themselves has to take a cut. So a lot of people involved getting paid on these, but I can promise you this: you're not gonna buy a $30 T-shirt. I think there's a couple items in the 20s, or like a $50 quarter zip, whatever you decide to choose. You're not gonna buy it, get it, and then feel like you didn't get your money's worth. Truly, it's not going to be like this is shit quality. What happened? We could have launched a store with cheaper products that honestly are shit. And the reason we haven't launched a store in a couple of years is because I've been looking for something that actually is nice and people will like the items that they get. So I wear my stuff all the time. So does Carter. And hopefully you'll like the things you order as well. If you have any questions about it, reach out to me. My Twitter DMs are open and happy to answer any questions that y'all have. Should we get to the show?
Absolutely. You want the YouTube comment of the day?
I would love a YouTube comment.
This is from Burner Ball. He says, "Hot take: Osaka not going to win this tournament. Anisimova redemption tour after getting double bageled in the Wimbledon final." He said that 3 hours ago. Osaka lost last night. So,
Yeah,
like, I mean, good call. Not a hot take though, because it already happened. I do love, unless the hot take is that Anisimova is going to beat Sabalenka tomorrow. Um, I love the shout on that, by the way. And I just, I love talking tennis, so I just wanted to say shout out Osaka. She looked good. She looked good. I
yeah.
don't think she has it in her to win a tournament right now because she's still ramping up physically. But boy, did she look good, and she just ran out of gas. I thought she was the better tennis player yesterday.
Me too. She was great. Yeah, I was gassing her up on yesterday's episode. I think that's what it's in response to. I thought Naomi was going to win the tournament, but you and I, correct me if I'm wrong, one of our first bonding moments as friends was fading Naomi Osaka constantly. Like we sniffed out very quickly that she was over it and needed a break, and like she was still the favorite at every single tournament. So you and I hate watched her for a really long time, and now she's back playing good. It was fun to watch. It's hard for her to make me a fan. She's someone I've liked rooting against, and her play in this tournament made me a fan again. So shout out to Naomi. Any early thoughts on the final here? Anisimova versus Sabalenka.
Sabalenka is that's my person. I love Sabalenka. I love rooting for Sabalenka. I love everything about Sabalenka. She's my woman crush Wednesday. I think she's a phenomenal tennis player. I think she like mentally, I love Sabalenka from I don't know if you watched this first season of that tennis documentary on Netflix. But I think she spoke about like her home country being at war, her having to play through that, not knowing if she's ever going to see her family again. Like the mental strength that she has developed over time is so impressive to me because this in the beginning of her career, she didn't have that. And that's why she kept losing tournaments. And now she's like a dog. And she
Yeah.
stares you in the face and says, no, I'm going to run right through you and I'm going to serve it past you. And I have all the mental strength in the world all of a sudden. So I just think like it's weird because like I feel like I've been able to watch Sabalenka develop since my tennis fandom started. So I'm very partial and biased to Sabalenka every single time.
Hilarious way to frame it. You said she's my person, like as if you're like love struck by Arina Sabalenka, but I get
I
it. It
might
checks
be.
out.
I
Yeah.
might be. I mean, the amount of money I've won off her matches, like I don't want to rule it out.
Yeah, it checks out. Anisimova confuses me because she got bageled at was it the Wimbledon final recently? And I don't know what to make of her. I thought Naomi had her in the first set, and then like you said, Naomi just ran out of steam. Anisimova at her best can beat anybody, but I worry that she loses her mind a little bit against someone who's just more well-rounded than her. And Arena's as well-rounded as they get, while being as much firepower ceiling as you get with the serve and all that too. So gotta think Saba's gonna take it, but we'll see. Enough tennis talk for today. Let's get to the Discord. Join the Discord. We start today with Zabumafu, who says, what teams do you think will finish with the highest average between KenPom offense and defense? And what combination of two teams would. Oh, those are two separate comments. Excuse me. Sorry, I thought they went together. Teams with the highest average between offense and defensive adjusted efficiency.
So basically, like who has the highest differential between the two?
Yeah, I think for example, like let me look at the end of last year real quick. Duke was number one in the country. They had the number one offense, number five defense. Added up, you get six. Number two was Houston. They had the 12th best offense, first best defense, 13. Number three was Florida, the national champs, second best offense, sixth best defense, added up eight. So in like that numeric game, Florida should have jumped Houston. Like Purdue, for example, this year, probably number one offense, might be like the 30th best defense.
Yeah.
So there will be teams who you add together and are lower. Who do you think has the best chance of being the highest on that?
Houston, right? Like Houston's like perennially like one of the best defenses in the country. I think they're gonna have a good offense as well. Also Duke, because Duke has Cam Boozer, then Duke also is gonna be 6'7" across the board in their starting lineup.
Yeah, I like that answer. Um, I think I just bet on Duke, honestly. I bet on Duke. I think about BYU. I think about UConn. I do think Michigan has a chance if they finish respectively in offense because they should be like a top six, seven defense, I think. Six, seven. I don't even try to do that anymore, and it just keeps happening. It's crazy. But yeah, I'd bet Duke. Let's just go with Duke and roll with that. Next up from Zabumafu, we have what combination of two teams would be the best?
Um,
Probably just the
like
best two teams, right?
Duke and Houston, right?
Probably, I think, because you get the Houston defense and the Purdue offense and pick and match how you want.
Yeah. I mean, or even Purdue and Duke, I guess, too, for the same reason.
If we're trying to stretch a different answer just to be creative, I would try to find a team with two guys to put in between BYU's three. Rob
You,
Wright, DeBonta, Saunders. Give a
yeah,
team a big man and like a two guard.
I was gonna say UConn and BYU combined because you could go Keita, DeBonsa, Rob Wright, Solo Ball, Caravan.
I don't hate that. Or I mean, maybe it sounds crazy or dumb, but just put Braden and TKR with the three BYU guys and play 2 point guards at once. Yeah.
I would pay insane money to watch AJ and Braden Smith be teammates.
That would be ridiculously fun. It truly would. Okay, back to the Discord comments. Maybeck Matt says, what are the chances that Jack Benter is actually a plus athlete? We did a short video on this on Friday, but yeah, what are your thoughts on Jack Benter actually being a good athlete for Purdue?
Yeah, he's a little bouncy. A little bouncy. I said it on the short. Infectious smile. And I think that goes into his role on this team.
I think he actually is a good athlete, all jokes aside. I joked in the short video that Benter is Purdue's best athlete. Like that's he's the best athlete on the team. He's not. I think he's like a top five athlete on the team, probably though, which is partially about who the rest of the team is and partially that the kid can jump a little bit. But he broke a backboard in high school. Like dude has some dunking history here. And if that ever is used in a game or not, that remains to be seen. All Hail the Pope says, how many top 10 recruits will Kentucky get? Should we look at the class of 2026 real quick?
Let me pull it up. I know they're getting Tyron.
They are the favorite for Tyron. I would give them Tyron as we sit here today.
Yeah, I definitely got one. Let me take a look. Tyron.
I don't think they get Jordan Smith. Jason Crow already turned them down. I don't think they get Cameron Williams. Caleb Holt is a possibility. Dylan Mingo, they're not recruiting. Anthony Thompson, they're getting a visit from, but I'd be surprised. Christian Collins could be a get. Brandon McCoy, I don't know the latest of. And Baba is also a big contender. So to me, you're looking at Baba, Christian Collins, Caleb Holt, Tyron Stokes.
I
How
think
many
they
of those
get.
four do they get?
I think they get two. I don't think they get Baba or Brandon McCoy. I think they get one of Holt, Christian Collins to go with Tyron.
I bet they get Christian Collins and Tyron Stokes. That would be my guess. And if there is a third that I think they're in the mix for, I would guess Caleb Holt. Your Serbian Boiler says moving on to Kentucky by request. This is your Serbian Boilers game that he's been bringing to the table for us this week. I don't know if you've seen this or not, unless you've been listening, but he has five different prompts, and we need to rank these from most to least likely for next season, all Kentucky related.
Okay.
Prompt number one: Kentucky loses three or less games this year in the SEC. Number two, Jalen Lowe shoots 38% or higher from three. Number three, Mark Pope has his best defensive team in 5 years, ranking 29th or better D rating on KenPom. Number four, Otega is not just Otega. He averages more points, steals, and is more efficient on shooting, on the way to being a first team All American. Number five, Kentucky loses in the Sweet 16 or earlier. Most to least likely.
I think the most likely is the best defensive team in 5 years. Oh wait, are we doing this? I guess like before I answer, are we doing this? When is Jaden Quaidnance playing in this hypothetical?
Whatever you think is most likely.
All right, let's just say I'm gonna assume he plays early November. I think Mark Pope, best defensive team, is probably the most likely thing.
I'll get some shit for this. I'm going to say Kentucky loses in the Sweet 16 or earlier is most likely. Respectfully, if they make a Sweet 16, that's a success, and then they lose in the Sweet 16. Like that seems incredibly likely. I don't know that I'm expecting them to make an Elite Eight on paper. So I would go with that first. I would go with the defense second. I do think the defense will be improved. I would go with Otega is a first team All American third. I would go with, I guess, Kentucky loses three games or less in the SEC fourth. Jalen Lowe's not going to shoot 38% from three, I don't think.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think the second most likely is the Kentucky Sweet 16 or earlier loss, and I actually don't think that's either one of us taking a shot at Kentucky. I think that all five of these statements, like three of them, are just in my world not happening. To where that one you could just like slip up by accident and have happen, right?
Yep.
I think third would be Kentucky loses three or less games this season in the SEC for me, and then fourth would be Ortega. The only reason I have it fourth is just because I I think they're too talented for him to average more points this year. He might be an All-American, he might average more steals, but I think they have too many scoring options for him to average more points. And then Jelon Lowe's not shooting 38% from three.
Yeah, the Sweet 16 one, I think the line is maybe a half a point off. If we were retweaking this, I would say it's Kentucky loses before the Sweet 16. That would be harder to rank. To me, if you put the over under on Kentucky wins in March, it's probably right around two max. Like I don't know. You have to already feel pretty confident that Kentucky is really good just to get to a Sweet 16. So I don't know. Hard for me. But if they lose in the Sweet 16, I think that'd be a good season anyway. Last thing for the comments today, Pat Signal. Shout out to your Serbian Boiler and Pat Signal, by the way. You guys carried great comments throughout the week, bringing these reoccurring kind of themes back. So thank you guys. Pat Signal says, trivia question of the day. In 2019, what 12 seed made the Sweet 16 and lost to 1 seed Virginia? There's three hints if we need them.
I don't think I do. Give me one. It's a Pac-12 school.
You think you know it or no?
I think I do, yeah.
Who do you think it is?
Oregon.
12 seed Oregon. I don't remember this, but that were they a 12 seed? Hit number one. This team beat 5 seed Wisconsin in the first round.
I think it's Dylan Brooks' Oregon team.
They were a 12 seed?
I think so because that's the year Lonzo stared him in the face, right?
I don't remember. I don't, What
Or am I a year?
Wisconsin losing to a 12 seed. The name that's coming to my mind right now is Buffalo for some reason, but I don't remember a Buffalo run to a Sweet 16. Hit number two. This team beat a 13 seed in the round of 32.
You know what? I still think I'm correct, but I don't think it's Dylan Brooks' team. But I do still think it's Oregon.
Still going with Oregon. Okay, I'm open to it, but I don't remember an Oregon team doing this. Hit number three. This team's primary color is green. Let's lock in Oregon as our answer.
Yeah.
It's Oregon. 12 seed Oregon?
That wasn't Dylan Brooks. That's Peyton Pritchard and them.
They were a 12 seed?
Yeah, because remember Bull was supposed to be sick, like the crazy McDonald's All-American, and then like I don't think he did
I
anything.
thought Peyton Pritchard's team made the deep Final Four run, though.
Well, he might have had another team that did.
Hold on.
I
Let's
don't think
look up 2019 Oregon because now I want to know who this is. Oregon basketball stats. I think you're right. It was Bull, right?
I do think that's Bull's team, yeah.
Oh yeah, they went 25 and 13. They beat UC Irvine in the second round. Peyton Pritchard, junior year. Lewis King is the only other guy I remember in Bull. Good call. Wow. I think I'm bad at trivia, but thank God we got Deion who got us that one. All right, that's the comments. Thank you, everybody in the Discord. Join the Discord. Remember, check out our merch store. It is pinned to our Twitter if you're looking for that. It's also been sent to the Discord as well. Let's get to the show. For topic one today, I thought it'd be fun to call this the way too early college basketball cheat sheet. Basically, I want to go through a bunch of end of season accolades that teams could get and just pick a winner. Each of us picking a winner, no additional context, no like runner ups or anything, just who's going to do each of these things. You can have your own answers, I can have my own answers, and then we'll get Booby to make a graphic about it at the end. Yeah. Although, only question for me, is it still way too early? We're getting close to the season. Is this just a little early now?
Yeah, slightly early, I feel like.
Slightly early. College basketball cheat sheet. That's what we'll go with. All right. We'll start with the most important question. National champion is who?
3 units, Purdue.
You're going Purdue.
One Purdue.
I'm also going to go Purdue, but I don't like that we're both going Purdue. I want to just be different, but I'm not going to. It's Purdue. We keep it moving. National player of the year.
Cameron Boozer.
Are we going to agree on everything?
Are you on Cam too?
I wanted to be, but now, now I'm thinking I'm going to change again. What? Give me the Boozer pitch though, because I love to hear somebody else is actually buying into this kid.
So I'm buying into the idea that Duke is, it's hard to say Duke's underrated, but Duke is being slept on. I'm buying into that idea. I think Cameron Boozer has more pressure on him, more stuff on his plate than Cooper Flag did. Cooper Flag right in the thick of things for National Player of the Year. I think Cameron Boozer is going to be able to do a little bit more counting stats. Going to be a little bit more so the focal point of the offense on a team that's coming in with less expectations than last year's Duke team came in with. I think they're going to over exceed all expectations, and he's going to be the best player on the team.
All right. Yeah, I'm very in on that vision. I am going to be different though, but I was thinking about doing Cam if you chose somebody else. Just give me Braden. Give me Braden. Give me my guy, Uncle Braden, as my daughter calls him. It's Braden Smith. I'm so aboard the Purdue bandwagon right now. It's terrifying. We're going to do each conference quickly, all the major conferences. Who wins the ACC regular season?
Duke.
You're going Duke. No thought to Louisville.
No thought to Louisville. I think both those teams are way better than anybody else in the conference. I think in the head-to-head matchup, I mean, they got nothing for Cam.
Yeah, you and I are so aligned. It's ridiculous. I'm going Duke. I think Duke has some separation at the top of the ACC again. Big Ten winner. We both have Purdue, I'm guessing.
Yeah, absolutely.
No way to argue anything other than that. Big 12.
I like Arizona. Um, I like
Whoa.
Arizona. I wanted to go BYU, but I think this that when I say underrated, I don't think anybody's more underrated than this Arizona team. I think Koa Pete's going to wind up being one of the best three freshmen in the country behind AJ and Cam. I'm way in on this Arizona team.
I mean, I actually really like the answer. I like the differentiation. I'm going to take the easy way out yet again. I'm going to take Houston. I think they're just too consistent, right? They might lose like 3 or 4 games, but good Lord, they're just so hard to beat every single game. Defensively, what they are, Kelvin Sampson, you know how good they're going to be every year. So give me Houston. I'm going chalk thus far, but I feel pretty good about it. Big East. Who wins the Big East?
UConn, too talented. Hurley seems hungry. He might retire next offseason, and if he doesn't, he'll have a newspaper article about how he almost did. I think UConn's a little too hungry.
You hesitated a little bit.
I like St. John's more. Like St. John's fits my heart of hearts more. Like I want to root for St. John's, but UConn's the better team.
You're the person on our team that believes in St. John's the most, just for the record. So, kind of interesting. I'm curious to see how that plays out. But yeah, I'm going UConn. I think the rest of the Big East stinks, to be honest. I'm not into St. John's, and I don't think there's any other team I think is even going to be within 2 or 3 games of UConn. The last time I predicted a team would win a league by 3 games was Indiana last year. So, sorry, Dan Hurley and UConn fans. SEC. Who wins the SEC?
This one's, I think, the toughest to predict.
Yep, agree.
I am going to take the easy way out, or what I believe is the easy way out, and say Kentucky, because I'm not in on Florida, really at all, to be honest with you. I think the second best team, though, is the team and the guy no one's talking about, Arkansas and Cal. And I think Arkansas and Cal are going to make this very interesting again with Kentucky, and we're gonna get to see Pope versus Cal down the stretch.
It's a good shout. This one's definitely the most difficult. Florida's the chalky answer, but I'm with you. I don't really want to buy Florida. I don't view Arkansas as a threat. I just think Cal's teams come in waves now. Like his team might be really good in March, but they might be really bad in February. That's been kind of a consistent theme. So I think it's too inconsistent to win it outright. I'm not buying Kentucky to that level. I think they'll be good, but I don't think they're going to run through the SEC. And then I would love to back either Bruce Pearl or Nate Oates, but I don't think their teams are good enough. Outside of the star, there's not enough there. So by default, that takes me to an answer that I think will surprise some people. I like Tennessee to win the SEC. I do. I think Jacoby Gillespie's a total killer. Nate Ament's a top five freshman. Even if I don't really buy the Ament hype, he's pretty damn talented. And I think that's a combo that can win a lot of games. And you have the kind of the Houston element going on where Rick Barnes is always going to have an elite defense. You don't have to worry about that side. And elite defense plus Jacoby Gillespie just bombing threes on you, I think is a pretty good formula.
That's a good shout. That's a good shout. I have Kentucky, Arkansas, 10-3, Tennessee, excuse me.
How
As my
far down do you have Florida?
pretty down. I'm not in on the Xavier Lee stuff. And Boogie Flan, I'm New York point guard. Everybody knows how I feel about it. I can't wrap my head around the fact that they got better when he got hurt.
Yeah,
And
it was a whole thing last year. It was a real thing that happened. This is very true. All right, freshman of the year. I'm assuming you're going with Cam Boozer since he's your national player of the year.
yeah, I'm going with Cam.
All
But
right.
I wouldn't be surprised, sneaky, if you're betting this stuff. I would sneaky bet AJ or Michael Brown or somebody like that because, like, maybe the NCAA does like, oh, we're not going to give him two awards things.
Okay, that's fair. I'm going Cam Boozer, and I thought that was my hot take, but Deion has him at national player of the year, so here we are. Defensive player of the year. Who you got?
Hmm. I mean, that's tough. I don't know who. Jaden Quaidnitz is the only one that I think plays defense at that level.
I think it could happen, especially if there's like a top 10 defense for Kentucky. He'll get a lot of hype and a lot of credit for it. I'm going to go JoJo Tugler. Just pick a Houston guy, pick the most elite defender on that team. I like him. Coach of the year is a fun one because I think this could almost had its own segment. You got to talk yourself into somebody out of nowhere here. Sometimes this goes to someone totally off the radar. Sometimes it goes to a first year head coach. Sometimes I don't know. It could go to a bunch of different guys, to be honest. So, who is your coach of the year?
I'm gonna choose probably the most obscene pick that nobody saw coming for me on this. I'm gonna go Hubert Davis.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna go Hubert Davis.
What does that look like? Talk me through this.
I think North Carolina finishes top three in the ACC. I'm pretty in on their transfer portal class. Bogovich looks really good. Maybe I'm just wrapped up in that 10-second video I saw. But to me, my criteria for coach of the year is somebody that took a team and raised their floor and made them better than what we were expecting. I would love to give Paint this credit. I would love to give Pope this credit. I would love to give Cal this credit. Those would be my big three in terms of just results. but I'm expecting Purdue to win a national championship. I'm expecting Pope and Cal to be involved in the SEC stuff. I don't know what they could do that blows me away. I don't think North Carolina is like that good, but if they finish top three the way I feel like they might, then that's going to blow me away. And that's going to be like, that's raising a team's floor and ceiling.
I see that vision. I actually love the argument for it. Um, Now I want I want to pick Jake Diebler just because that'd be so funny if we put them on a graphic together as our national coaches of the year. But God, I can't actually do that. Oh man, I'm really torn on this one. I am trying to come up with somebody a little off the radar whose team I really believe in, and I'm not finding any that I really want to overinvest in here. Um, I thought about Mick Cronin. I think if UCLA finished the season like top 7 in the country, I think Mick Cronin would get a lot of love. But I'm actually, oh, I think I'm gonna go with this guy. I'm gonna go with TJ Otzelberger.
Okay. Walk me through that one.
I think that Iowa State is the best team that is being slept on.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to be overly difficult for TJ Otzelberger to turn this into a really good team. A lot of the reasons that we liked Iowa State last year, I think still exist. This team still has Taman Lipsey. This team still has Joshua Jefferson. Milan Momcilovic, I think, finally being featured for the first time in his career could be huge. But
Mhm.
because they lost Curtis Jones and Keyshawn Gilbert, everyone's picking them like sixth in the Big 12 and really far down. Otz is an elite coach. I really believe he is. There's a baseline here. They're always a hard out. If they finish like second in the Big 12, top 8 nationally, I think there's going to be a huge narrative that nobody saw that coming. Look what Otz did with this group.
Actually, I love that. I love that. And I think their team, I kind of did the same thing with North Carolina, but I think mine's a bigger reach. Like Iowa State legitimately is really good and just not kind of being talked about.
Yeah.
Um, Tommy Lloyd, I think, is somebody else I consider too.
I
For
think
the
that's a
same
really
reason.
good shout too. Yeah, it's hard because I think a lot of the breakout coaches that I want to back have teams that are projected like top 12 in the country this year. So you kind of got to look outside of that. Or like I would have liked a first year coach shout, but I just don't like Ben McCollum or Darren DeVries enough to back one of those guys. So
Darren would have got me a lot closer than Ben just because I think Indiana has like a legit chance to compete in the Big Ten, whatever that looks like, with Purdue kind of running away with it. But like I think they could be in the mix. And then Shire is the one like I would have loved to pick Shire, but I just feel like I mean you're coming off a Final Four. I don't know what he could do differently.
can I give you one more I thought about?
What's that?
Bill Self.
Yeah. hmm
What if Kansas is actually really good? Darren Peterson's awesome, and he was right. He just needed role players.
If that's correct, Darren Peterson's the National Player of the Year too.
Yeah,
Like
like
I
I
think
yeah.
both win, not one.
Yep. And I'm not willing to back that. I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to go the other way. But in terms of value, I think that's an interesting proposal as well. That was fun. Cheat sheet, college basketball, getting closer. This is a topic I think is going to be really fun to do. Not that I don't love every topic we do, but sometimes I'll put it down and I'm like, okay, we can do that, whatever. Sometimes it's something I think Carter will enjoy more than me. This is one I'm like licking my chops at. Like this is going to be spicy. Some people are going to get mad at this one, and it's going to be a fun thought exercise, I think. I want to come up with our list of the top 10 cultures in college basketball.
Okay. Okay. I
Culture is a
love.
buzzword. It can mean a lot of things to a lot of different people. We're not trying to overstep any boundaries here, but people with certain programs, I don't want to name them because I don't want to get to some of the teams we're going to talk about, but there are programs that preach culture. There are programs that brag about their culture. The culture you come here for is just different. It's not money, it's not playing time, it's not other. This is our culture. Come here. That's what I'm after. Now, there are also programs who I think would say their culture is paying players and making them NBA players at some point. So there's a lot of different ways we can go about this. It's going to ultimately be up to us to try and define what we think the criteria is. But I want a list of 10 teams, 1 to 10 in order, that have the 10 best cultures in college basketball.
And this is like it's. I guess actually I'll just wait till we do it and I'll ask my question based upon who I want to have on the list, and you can let me know if it doesn't count or not.
Okay. Okay. All right. Should we just get to it?
I mean, Michigan State has to be one, right?
Do you think they're number one?
Sadly, yes. Like I love poking fun at Michigan State. I love nothing more than reminding Cart that Michigan won the Big Ten tournament whenever he like talks about his banner. I love pointing that out.
They were asking for John Tonji's autograph, by the way. That's what they were doing. But there were banners still to be won. People forget that you can win more than one banner in a season.
But I do think it's Michigan State.
Give me the pitch on why, because they're definitely on the list. They're definitely in the top five, maybe even the top three. I was actually going to nominate them first if you didn't, so it's a totally fair nomination. However, I think there will be a few other handful of programs that also have quote unquote elite cultures that would argue theirs over Michigan State's. To name a few, not to hint our next order, but some that I think will come up soon here. Houston's got to be around. UConn's got to be around. Duke has to be around. I think Purdue has to be around. And then it might open up from there. There's other teams worthy of this as well. But I think all four of those would at least make an argument. Our culture is more special than Michigan State's. Why to you is Michigan State number one on the list?
So my top three are Michigan State, Calipari, Duke. And the reason I say that is the reason I say that is you never actually leave the program. And the same could probably be said for Houston. The same could probably be said for UConn. The same could be said for Purdue. But I mean, Draymond Green is going on year like, I don't know, whatever it is, 13, 14 in the league. He still comes for grind week. Duke did their thing. You saw the players that showed up. Granted, a lot of they did the one and done thing later, so some of them are a lot younger, but still, right? Like Nolan Smith, all of them are still involved in the program. John Shire is the coach, and he played in like the 2000s, right? So, um, and then with Calipari, they still continue to be involved in the program. That connection to a school is something that I think supersedes what happens in your anywhere from 1 to 4 years on campus.
So I think you're right. However, I think it disqualifies Arkansas because ultimately we're after the school. We're after the list of the school
Sure.
names. So we could put Kentucky on the list and say that there's still culture-based things that have superseded Calipari, or we could put Arkansas on the list under that's Calipari's current culture. But I think my argument would be that's nowhere to be found right now. You're totally right about it,
Yeah.
but can't rank him on the
Well,
list.
I wouldn't rank them based on the school. I would rank Kentucky because I think Kentucky, like, that's the biggest program in college basketball. And
Kentucky will be here somewhere for sure. Yeah.
it's very clear. The one I was going to ask you about, I wasn't sure if this counts. Louisville, I think Pat Kelsey has the most endearing culture in college basketball at the moment, him or Pope, to be honest with you. But he just started, so I don't know if that counts.
The Kenny Payne years are still lingering on my mind, to be honest. Like empty stadium, fans totally disappeared. I don't know. I think Kelsey is kind of going his own personal, individualistic route right now, too.
Yeah.
So, no disrespect to Louisville fans, but I wouldn't consider that like a family culture we come back to. Even the Rick Pitino years at Louisville have some icky connotation to it at this point. So, I think they're off my list. I'm okay with Michigan State. Like, just let me do some rival fan praise for a second. The grind week stuff they do is genuinely awesome. It's incredible. The way their stars and even role players have come back and invested time, effort, relationships with Tom Izzo. It's nothing short of magnificent. It's unique. I don't think anybody else can match it. So I'm fine with Michigan State at one. Who would you argue is two then if it's not Calipari?
Duke, Duke. Yeah, I think Duke 2, Purdue 3, Houston 4 would probably be my top four.
Duke two, Houston three.
No, Purdue 3, then Houston 4.
Why Purdue ahead of Houston? And why
Um,
also Kentucky at this point? Kentucky's dropping on the list if we're talking culture.
Kentucky's at 5 for me. And it has nothing to do with the program or the school. I think individually that's the biggest program in college basketball. I think Pope's doing things so different than Calipari. It's kind of the same argument with like Arkansas, Pat Kelsey, so on and so forth, that like a few years from now, I think Kentucky will be one, but like it just has to kind of play itself out a little bit.
Kind of recovering from the disruption that was the Cal era. And
Yeah.
that's a totally different culture than this culture.
Yeah, so it's just like it's still loading, I guess you could say. But I would have them 5 because that's clearly the biggest program in college basketball. I mean, it's $600 tickets for an exhibition against Purdue.
So I want to make one argument here. I think UConn should be two. And I think
Okay.
it's because I've seen it close up when we were at the Final Four interviewing a bunch of alumni. Like the way UConn alums carried themselves versus other players that came through. UConn alums came in and were just like, I don't know, like it was so about winning and like familiarity with success. And there was this camaraderie behind like I don't know, like we acknowledge each other and we invest in each other because we're winners. And that's what you do at UConn. And you come back and you are praised and you're celebrated once you enter the circle of winning. I think that matters. And I think it's unique given how many different eras have won at UConn. I mean, they've had three different coaches win a national championship since I've been alive, which is crazy. So I would argue UConn is two and Michigan State is one.
I like that. I mean, shout out Kevin Ollie.
Shout out Kevin Ollie. And then I'm fine putting Duke three. Obviously, the Brotherhood is special, special culture. And when you lose a coach like Coach K and don't skip a beat, that means something. Michigan State one, UConn two, Duke three. We're going Purdue four.
I want to bump Kentucky ahead of Houston. I don't think Kentucky should be outside the top five.
Purdue four, Kentucky five, Houston six.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. All
When
right.
do you say North Carolina?
I was going to ask when do we get to them? I feel like, I mean, what about Kansas? But Kansas is kind of history versus culture to me. But
Yeah,
like,
I don't know what
what is
Kansas.
Kansas's culture?
That's what I was gonna ask. I don't know what Kansas's culture is, other than like we have a really good coach and like recruits want to play for us, which is sick. I mean, I would take that in a heartbeat.
Right. Any other shouts? Like what other nominations? Gonzaga feels like they have a culture to me at this point.
Yeah, Gonzaga, North Carolina.
You're
Um,
pushing UNC pretty hard.
I think you have to have UNC on the list. Like historic, like that Carolina Blue is always gonna hit. Unfortunately, like you could have anybody as the coach, and you just throw the Carolina Blue in them, it's gonna hit.
In the Hubert Davis era, though, that's North Carolina's culture. They got a top 10 culture under Hubert Davis right now.
But we're talking about is it just right now or is it like in the history?
I don't know. I feel like it's like history is part of culture, but I feel like it's almost two different things here. Are we arguing history or are we arguing like what does a program stand for? What are their principles? What's their mission statement, you know?
I think the combination of the two UNC's in on. If it's just history, the list might start with UNC. If it's just right now, they might be at the bottom of it.
All right, I'm okay putting UNC 7 then. Houston was 6, UNC 7. Who else? I mentioned Gonzaga.
St. John's,
I don't think I'm putting St. John's anywhere near this. Florida, anything to you or no?
it's really new. I'm gonna be honest, like it's
They
really
had
new.
like the Horford Noah years, but that again feels more like history than a culture.
In Horford Noah, like it feels like yesterday to me because like that was like what I grew up watching, but I was also in like middle school when that happened.
Can I make a case for what I would do as the final three spots here?
Yeah, what are they?
Kansas, Gonzaga, and then I think it's either Marquette or Tennessee.
Would I be reaching if I asked for Wisconsin? Would I be reaching?
I thought about Wisconsin. I did think about Wisconsin, but I don't want to acknowledge their culture. But it is a pretty good culture. So,
I would
but
go
here's
Tennessee.
my pick. Tennessee, I think I don't know. At this point, like it's kind of just Rick Barnes' MO. It's kind of Houston light what they've become. I think Marquette Shaka does a lot of the same things that Izzo does and Painter does. And then I think Kansas speaks for itself. Gonzaga speaks for itself to an extent. So I'd choose three of those four, or if you want to put Wisconsin as a fifth nomination too, I'm okay with that.
I think Kansas, Gonzaga, Tennessee. I like that to round out.
Kansas 8, Gonzaga 9, Tennessee 10.
Sneaky though, I wouldn't hate swapping St. Mary's for Gonzaga.
Oh, that'd be spicy a little bit, I think. But
That would
yeah,
be very spicy.
honorable mentions to me, I do think like St. Mary's, Iowa State probably deserves a shout. Wisconsin. Uh, who was the other one I just was camping for?
Marquette.
Marquette. Yeah, those would be my nominees. But okay, top 10 cultures. Michigan State, UConn, Duke, Purdue, Kentucky, Houston, North Carolina, Kansas, Gonzaga, Tennessee. How far down do we have to go until we get to Michigan? Pretty
This year,
far down,
pretty far
right?
down. A few
Yeah.
years from now, probably not very far at all.
Where's Illinois on the list?
Oh, that's a good question, actually. What is Illinois' culture, though? I feel like it changes every year. That's the thing.
Chaos. I think it's chaos.
Then they're right at the top. Then they're doing that phenomenal.
They do it really well, right? Yeah. This was a fun exercise. Hard to define, hard to come up with tangible things to give scores to on culture. All right, for our third and final topic today, I want to do something that I don't think we've done before, at least not this off season. I want to look back at last year's 2024 preseason college basketball AP poll and do a little research project, figure out what lessons we can learn that we got wrong last year. So I'll read it. I'll read the top 10, and then we can both kind of come up with our mental notes on maybe what we should learn going into this year. Sound good?
That sounds good. You said basketball, or did you say football? I'm sorry.
I am doing basketball for
Okay.
this. Yep. So preseason 2024 AP poll had five different teams received a first place vote going into the year. So it was not like there was an absolute favorite. We felt at the top of the year last year it was kind of wide open parity year. Five teams received a first place vote. Those five teams were Kansas, Alabama, UConn, Houston, and Gonzaga. Sandwiched in between those five, Iowa State was actually voted fifth, but did not receive a first place vote. So the top six teams in the preseason poll last year, unanimous number one, Kansas, pretty much 30 first place votes. Alabama 2, 14 first place votes. UConn 3, Houston 4, Iowa State 5, Gonzaga 6, Duke 7, Baylor 8, North Carolina 9, Arizona 10. Out of those 10 teams, Kansas, UConn, Iowa State, Gonzaga, Baylor, North Carolina, and Arizona all went on to fall out of the top 10 later in the season. So a lot of things were missed here. We painted last season as Kansas or Alabama, who's number one going into the year, almost similarly to how we're painting Purdue versus Houston, who's number one this year. So, what lessons can we learn from this, Deion? What are the things you would point to?
Bama did finish top 10, huh? I don't know why to me because I was so heavy on the train that this Bama team isn't good. I think I forgot that they actually finished top 10.
It was close. It was close.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest lesson is, well, one, Dan Hurley's not always correct because he was disrespected by being three, and boy, did that switch up pretty quickly. But I think the biggest lesson is you could see what the committee looks for in the offseason, right? It's the previous season success mixed in with are you a blue blood? Mixed in with how many returners do you have? And then if you have none of the above, do you have a lot of stud freshmen? Because you see, if you look at the list, you got VJ Edgecombe's Baylor, Cooper Flagg's Duke. Um, that's actually all the freshmen, but or all the dudes that are at Arizona. But like they clearly go in with freshmen and then go in with like returners, and it's kind of like it's a hype train to set up like the early season matchups essentially.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I just looking through this couple lessons. Lesson number one for me would be you don't need to give a title bump to a roster with questions. Now, I don't think Florida has crazy questions, but if we're going through Final Four teams from last year, I think you could apply the lesson to Auburn a little bit, where we know there's holes on the roster, but they're still going to be picked top 15, top 20. So I would probably, depending where the AP poll actually puts Florida and Auburn, I would take the lesson of maybe bump them down a little bit because we think there are some issues. Florida doesn't have a lot of depth. They're going to try and play really big. You have questions with Xavier and Lee. Just because you were good last year doesn't mean you're going to end up really good this year. Um, I don't know what to do with Kansas being number one last year. Is there any lesson we can take from like is it just the team that we think got the best portal class might not actually live up to expectations?
Yeah, that I think they go in with a lot of like who had the best portal class, who had the best freshman, and if you had neither, well, is your name North Carolina? And then you just throw them in the top 10. So I think if you look at it, it's just a lot of like blue bloods, and then it's like the most hyped teams or the most hyped individual players, and then you mix it in Iowa State to kind of like it's kind of like when you have a 20-ounce sirloin steak, and then you throw Iowa State in there. That's your broccoli.
So let me give you three teams that ended up voted in the top three in our transfer ranking series we did. Louisville, Michigan, St. John's, the three best transfer teams.
This year.
All yeah, for this
Okay.
year. Three best transfer classes, all projected top 10 teams. Any of those going to get the Kansas treatment where it's like they got this nasty class, it's actually a disaster.
You're gonna hate my answer.
Nah, it can be Michigan. I see the argument for it. I think St. John's and Michigan both feel likely.
St. John's and Michigan feel likely. I go Michigan because of schedule. I feel like St. John's in the Big East. I'm not like high on the Big East. Even if St. John's isn't that good, I feel like they have a ton of winnable games.
Yeah, that's fair. That's absolutely fair, I think, actually. So I got a, this one hurts me. I think I got a comp for Baylor.
Really.
Baylor last year had the top three freshmen, VJ Edgecombe, a star transfer point guard, Jeremy Roach, like a big proven veteran center, Norchad Omier, who was like 6'9". Ain't that BYU?
Like this year's BYU team?
Like they got AJ DeBonsa, they got to be top 10. And I mean, Rob Wright is going to be very good, the same way Jeremy Roach was. And in the end, Baylor had a little too much dip on the chip. VJ was checked out for the draft. All offense, no defense. That would be my pitch. But I don't want to bump BYU at all. Just maybe one we would circle that maybe we're hyping them up a little too much.
Oddly enough, that's hilarious considering Rob Wright was on BYU too.
Yeah,
I think so. My thing is I think VJ Edgecombe's like not good at the sport of basketball. And AJ is really good at the sport of basketball. I don't think VJ's like, yeah, he just, for what he had to do in college, it just didn't fit what he wanted to do. And Richie Saunders is the reason I don't see it. Like, I would push back on the comparison just a little
that's
bit.
fair. There was no Richie with Baylor for sure. I see that. All
Yeah.
right. Lastly, from this exercise. So at the end of last season, Florida won the national championship. In the preseason poll, Florida was 21st.
Yeah.
Auburn was the best team for the bulk of the season, made a Final Four. They were 11th in the preseason poll. Duke was 7th, was awesome, made a Final Four. Houston made a national title game, was awesome. They were 4th. Let's take those little pods and try and say the season plays itself out the same way. It's not guaranteed to. It most likely definitely won't. But let's basically say one team in the top four in the preseason will make a Final Four. One team in the top 10 will make a Final Four. One team between 11 and 20 will make a Final Four. And one team outside the top 20 will make a Final Four. Who would you like to vote as the most likely if it played out the same way as last year?
And what rankings are we going based off of?
I think we can just kind of vaguely ballpark it.
Okay. So
Like
top
top
four.
four would have to be UConn, Purdue, Houston, and I don't know, pick a fourth if you want.
I think Florida gets bumped into the top four based upon last year. Like I think they're the team that gets like that committee bump in the same way
Probably,
UConn did.
probably. I'm not picking them as my team though. You know what I mean?
God, no, I don't even have them
Yeah.
in the top 25 at the end of the
So
year.
we both lock in Purdue as the team from the favorite group. Okay. So
Purdue would
then
be
5 through 10, any other top 10 level team.
Duke.
I like Duke. All
Yeah.
right, Purdue and Duke. Now we're looking for a team outside the top 10, but good, still with some preseason hype. Looking through teams here, I think teams that would qualify for this would have to be like Auburn, Alabama, Tennessee, Gonzaga, Texas Tech, maybe.
I got one for you, G.
Who you got?
I'm assuming you got Kentucky in your top 10. I'm assuming you got Arkansas right hovering around there too, right?
Yeah,
Arizona.
I'm good with Arizona. I like the shout. I like the
Arizona.
shout. A team that lives up to it. Okay, so we're locking in Arizona, Purdue, and Duke thus far. Now we need the team that's off the radar, outside the preseason top 20. Florida was last year's. They end up became the national champions. Who's that team this year?
Tennessee?
I don't know if they'll be outside, but they'll be around there. I mean, some teams I think have that type of upside, but could be out of it. Would have to be like Illinois, Kansas if Peterson hits, but I don't want to back that. Oregon, I think Shellstat and Biddle would qualify.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know who else. North Carolina, if you're buying the Hubert Davis thing you said earlier,
Yeah, I want to say Kansas, but I feel like the Bill Self bump, there's no way they're outside the top 20. Like, I feel like the committee throws them at like 17.
could be, could be true.
What about, I mean, I like Oregon.
I like Oregon, but I don't want to actually say I think they make a Final Four.
Yeah, neither do I. What about Bama or Auburn?
Yeah, it would probably be one of them. Probably one of them. All right. I feel like we learned some lessons for this.
Washington.
Yeah. Yuck.
Washington.
But yeah,
I mean, like, because if they hit, like, that ceiling is pretty high. I don't know that I believe they'll actually hit, but like,
I think you talked me into Carolina being that team.
I like Carolina. I don't know that I like them like Final Four wise, but I do. I think I'm a big Jonathan Powell guy. I can't get over the fact that they just snuck him into the transfer class.
So we would go Carolina, Duke, Purdue, and Arizona. That'd be a fun Final Four that played off of last year's projections. One big thing presented by our new store. Go buy Sleepers merch. It is linked in the Sleepers Twitter pinned tweet right now. What's your one big thing today?
Vibes. We're, fresh off a weekend, obviously recording this Friday afternoon. I haven't had positive vibes in my household in months.
Mm.
I'm switching that up this week. Switching that up this week. I'm going into the weekend positively. I'm speaking it into existence. I'm going to have a good betting weekend, and
Yeah.
I'm going to root for myself. And I think that's where it has to start. It has to start from within.
Sure. Hell yeah. I love these vibes. All right. My one big thing, I just want to express some excitement to fade the United States of America in the Ryder Cup. I cannot wait for this. I'm getting antsy. I will be a European. I will be doing all things European for exactly 1 week. I've been prepping a little bit. I figured out how to make crumpets. So that's on the agenda. And I'm trying to figure out which accent I should do. Like it could do a little French accent or even a little Italian potentially, but I'm going pure European for a week, Dion. Are you going to join me?
Oh yeah, you know me. I bet against America in this thing all the time. Ever since it became like, oh, like let's get all the frat brothers together and put them in a dorm room, and the Europeans are like, oh no, we're gonna kill you guys this week.
Yeah, they just have so many better golfers. Like with respect to Ben Griffin, who I still don't know who that is. I think I'm on Tommy Fleetwood's side now that he got a chip too. Just try and be hottest.
And honestly, John Rahm's like the only like live guy that's figured it out too. Respectfully to DeChambeau, like I think he's gonna melt down at the Ryder Cup.
I have a little thing I'm working on, which no one knows. You might be able to help since you're so well connected in international spheres. But I was thinking, I feel like there's a way to get Bryson on the European team by the end of the week and have him be like kind of like a mole and or like a dual citizenship guy that jumps to the Team Europe.
100% could have happened when he signed that live deal, by the way.
Yeah.
Uh,
Like,
there's
I'm actually Saudi Arabian now.
there's easily a world he signed himself into that, and like he might find out that week, like, hey, man, by the way, you're not allowed to play for them anymore.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. So, all right, go Europe. We'll see you in a couple weeks. We'll see you tomorrow on the Sleepers podcast.